Welcome to the Master Your Millions podcast, the show all about your financial potential and leaving a legacy for future generations. Here are your hosts, Jason and Scott Henderson.
I am your host, Scott Henderson, and my co-host is Dr. J. We've got a guest that Jason has met with and talked to for a bit, and we're excited to have him on the show. Jason, who do we have coming on?
Well, Scott, today we have Blake Hahn, and Blake is joining us today from Phoenix, Arizona, where he lives with his wife and two children. And having gotten to know him a little bit, trust me when I tell you that Blake is 1000% dad. I'm sure we could take this whole podcast and talk about his two kids and all the cool stuff that's going on and the time that he takes to spend with them. It's just awesome. Yet during his life, he has had a number of ups and serious downs. You know, he has nearly lost everything financially a couple of times, but he's built back. One of the things I admire most about Blake is his ability to constantly be at the grindstone. He's just always on it. He's grinding, right? He is known as a habit coach. One of the things he's noticed in his time is that there's some leadership issues that when people start to earn money or start to become successful, they don't know how to handle that. And so what he has created, he and a friend of his, Michael, that hopefully will get on the podcast soon, is a thing called Ideal, right? And you can, those are watching on YouTube, you can see that he brands it, man. He wears it all the time. It's on his hat, it's on his shirt. But it's Ideal as an app. It's a group. You could even call it a movement that's helping people achieve their ideal life. So hopefully I introduced that right. Blake, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. No, that was a great introduction. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for having me on.
So let's stay right there with Ideal. Tell us a little bit about the genesis of it and what led to you thinking this is something I've got to do. So I know you've been in sales and you've been very successful. This is a little bit different.
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, like I said, when I was getting a lot of questions asked, how do you keep going? Why are you so confident? You keep losing, and when losing is losing everything or new opportunities. So I just had a divine calling, and I call it a download from God. And when it hit, I just knew it right away. And that's when I called my buddy Michael and said, I got an idea. I know what we're going to do is all the habits and all the things and the disciplines that I've created over my life. I'm going to put in one central location into a book and be able to provide that and give that back to people. And as I sat back and really looked at my life, because I was just had my head down running forever, that's when I really started to realize all these things were habits that I was doing, but on a consistent daily basis and being disciplined and to them. And I've created my own system and process for myself. And that system and process with structure, holding myself accountable to it is what's got me to where I'm at today. Successful, making money, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to be able to give that back because I really didn't have an answer for people. And I wanted to be able to answer people. And I think that's why I got the download from God. And he said, here's what it is. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to help people all around the world through personal and professional development and help them through their habits. Because I think what we lack in today's world is, I would say, discipline, consistency, and being just accountable. And I think if a lot of people had more of that inside of their life, then I think they would be more of where they want to be or living a life and having more fulfillment and joy.
So in download word of God, but let's then back up a little bit. You said earlier at one point that shortly after high school you went into sales, door to door sales, right?
Yes. So right after high school, it was funny. I graduated on Wednesday. I moved out of my dad's house on Friday. I found a house to rent, and then I had a job lined up at Budweiser to throw beer and fill up shelves on Monday. So I started that, but after a year and a half in, I thought that $25 an hour was a lot of money, but it really wasn't. And especially even now, 10 years later, it's not a lot of money, but come to find out that that only pays me about $653 a week and about maybe $2,600 a month. So right there, I was like, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And I thought getting a good job and a good career and working your way up was where it was at. But when I found that, I was like, man, I can't buy a house. I can't travel the world. I can't do anything. I was like, I'm really just working just to survive and live. And I can't really do what I want to do. So that's when I jumped into door-to-door sales and found something different and started my own first company, which is called Tree Skateboard Wax.
So tell us about the first little bit of door to door. Did they teach you how to close like they didn't teach me?
Yes, they did. The guy at the name of Isaiah Perez, he was the vice president at the time, and it was crazy because the company is called Envision. My uncle's the one that owns it. He's been in the door-to-door space and in the security space for over 25 years. So when I reached out to him, he's like, "Hey man, just come out to the office, and I got an opportunity for you." And I already knew he did door knocking, and I literally told him, I was like, "Bro, I'm not gonna knock doors and walk around and do that, bro. Like that's not for me." And he's like, "Trust me, I got something different for you. Just come out to the office." So I come out and he basically says, "This is the VP. He's the baddest guy here. He's going to train you and teach you everything. And we're going to try something new with you." And it's called a new homeowner program. So what he did is like, "I'm going to put you in a car, get you a company vehicle, and then you're going to go and hit all the new homeowners around the valley. So you're not walking and knocking on doors, but you're still going to knock doors. You're just in a car where you could have your own drinks, ice chest, AC, and all that." And I was like, that sounds actually pretty good. I'll give it a shot. He went out there. It was crazy. My first day, we're about maybe an hour in. He gets into a house, closes the deal, and this is selling security systems for homes. And we get out and he goes, "All right, calculating." He's like, "I just made $750." I'm like, "You just made $750 in 45 minutes?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're kidding me. Like, do the math again." And he does it and he's all, "I'm not playing, bro. This is what I really made." I'm like, "Damn, that's what I make weekly." And I was like, "You just made that in 45 minutes." And then he's like, "Nope, it's true." So then we keep going, gets in another house, closes another deal. He's like, "Yeah, I just made another 750." And I'm like, "So wait, hold on, bro. You just made $1,500 in the last couple hours." And I was like, "And you could do as many of these over and over and over again, and my checks will cash. Like there's no cap." And he's all, "Yeah, bro, like you could do as many as you want." And I'm all, "No way." And then that's when it really clicked. And I'm like, "Man, I need to figure this out." So I literally was studying that pitch and going, and then he had me start knocking on doors. And then after I would say probably about 5, 6 pitches in, I finally got in my first house and closed my first deal. And then I got to make it on my own. And that's when it really clicked. But that's what really turned for me. And I was like, "Man, what am I doing?" I thought, like my dad taught me, is get a good job, work yourself up, and be there. I thought that would be enough. But when I saw this, I'm like, "Man, I need to be in sales." And that's what also triggered it. It's like I knew being able to control my paycheck is what I think I know I needed to have. So either being a business owner or getting into sales would really help me with that avenue. But that was kind of the start to my thing. And yes, he did teach me, to answer your question. He gave me a pitch. He taught me a process on how to knock doors, and taught me everything about the security side of things so that I was confident when I went into a house.
Awesome. So was it all sunshines and rainbows? It was just smooth sailing from there. You did what, 3, 4, 5 deals a day and off
Uh,
to the races, or
I
was
could
it more difficult than that?
It really wasn't. I'll be honest with you, man. And here's why. If I go back when I was about 7, 8 years old, me and my dad. So my mom and dad got a divorce when I was about 6 or 7 years old. Is right around there. They split. My mom went back to Oregon, and I was here in Arizona. My dad was always working 2 or 3 jobs. I'm the oldest of 3 boys, so he was just doing everything just to keep a roof over our head, food in our mouths, and make sure that we had clothes on our back to go to school. All my friends and my cousin was a single child, so they were getting all these new stuff: skateboards, bikes, ramps, all this cool stuff, shoes, clothes. And we only got clothes or anything new if it was right before the beginning of a school year or on our birthday or Christmas. And that was really it. So if I ever just wanted out of nowhere a new bike, a new skateboard, or anything, I'd go to my dad and ask, and he's just like, "Son, like I can't afford it." And the good thing about my dad, what he instilled in me, is he instilled in me like the definition of what hard work and entrepreneurship looks like. Because he said, "Well, I can't afford it, but I'll show you how you can earn it." And then that's when I went off, and he said, "Well, go grab a bucket. You can use our stuff. Go grab a bucket, towels, a sponge, and our soap, and go start knocking on doors and asking them to wash their cars for $10 a car." So then that's when I started doing that. And that was at the age of 7, 8 years old. And then after that, I was like, "Man, I want to make more money." So then he said, "Why don't you take our lawnmower with the weed eater, the electric cord, and the gas tank, and go knock on doors and ask to mow lawns for 15 to 20 bucks." So I started doing that. And then I started making my own money. And then I was going to buy my own skateboards, my own bikes, my own shoes. And then I wanted to make more money. So then I was like, "Dad, what else can I do?" He's like, "Well, you could spray paint on the curbs. They do their addresses out here in Arizona." So they spray paint them on the curb. And he's like, "I'll take you to Walmart. We'll go buy all the stencils and all that stuff. And we'll do our own curb first so I can show you and practice on it. And then you go knock on doors and charge $25 a house." So then I did that. We did our house first, and then started knocking on doors, and I was making $25 a house and spray painting just their curb, their addresses on their curbs. So I think a lot of it, where it instilled for me at a young age, was the hard work, but knowing that my dad taught me how to go out there and get whatever it is that I wanted. And he didn't just say that we couldn't afford it. So, "Son, no, we can't have those things." He said, "I'll just show you how to earn it." So he kind of taught me that. So why I say that is when I got into door-to-door sales, it wasn't nothing scary or anything for me. I just didn't want to walk and knock. So when I told I was given a car, I was like, "Oh, this is easy." And then obviously after I saw the guy in the first day make 1,500 bucks within a couple hours, this was just a no brainer. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, you have your slow weeks, your slow months, but when I saw that, man, I was just so hungry and I put my head down and I just didn't stop. I was doing literally between 12 and 15 sales a week, 2 to 4 a day, anywhere 2, 3 a day. And I just started running up and I was making anywhere from 3 to 6 thousand a week, started making 15 to 20,000 a month. And this was at like 21, 22 years old. So that's what really opened my eyes up and then saw the side of sales. So I would say it was kind of a nice slow, but it's because I grew up kind of knocking doors already as a young kid. So it wasn't nothing scary or not new to me.
How is it that you were knocking doors as this such a young age, but then when you graduate from high school, that you thought that you needed to get a job and work your way up? And there's a disconnect there, Blake. I mean, somehow it seems like your dad was teaching you one way, and yet you felt like your dad taught you to get a good job and work your way up. Help me understand that difference.
Well, man, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really so it sounds like obviously I was telling you my dad gave me guidance at that young age to go do that. But even throughout high school, my plans were obviously I was a quarterback. Played all the sports. Was supposed to go to college, play football, go D1, then go to the NFL. That was my dad's dreams for me, and then obviously I wanted to pursue those. But as I got into high school and stuff, I still didn't have that guidance and like leadership. And what I mean by that is like leading me on what I was going to do after high school. And then when my dad found out that I told him my senior year, if I didn't get a full ride D1 scholarship, I wasn't going to college because I didn't want to go to college, go D2, D3, beat my body up, and then also come out of school with debt and then just working just to pay my debt off for the next 15, 20 years of my life. So after that, we kind of had a little bit of a fallout and he wasn't too happy. So that's why I moved out, went and got a job. And I didn't have no guidance on like what to do or anything like that. And then I was so young, I just did it, made the money and bought the stuff that I wanted. So after all I knew was just I needed to get a job and get my own place so I could move out and be on my own because me and my dad were butting heads and he wasn't happy that I wasn't going to go to college. So kind of that's how it all started. But like I said, after 1 year in, it clicked for me right away. And I was like, dude, 25 bucks an hour, it's not worth it. And then for the hours I was working and I took the money, I actually started my first company. So I knew my uncle that does the door-to-door sales. I knew him. He was the only one within our family and friends that had a business. Everybody else just worked a normal job. So I went and started my own company called Treat Skateboard Wax, where it was like the wax for skateboards and you put them on the curb so you can grind. And then we did apparel with it too as well. So I took all my money that I was making and I put away at Budweiser on the side and then my credit cards and then put all that money into that business and started running that business. Left my job, went full time. We were heading to a trade show. We started getting all around the country and literally wake up the next morning and everything is swept from under me. My business partner cleared our bank accounts, cleared everything, and I lost everything overnight. And then due to having no legal protection, I really couldn't do anything about it. So I was kind of stuck. And then that's why I knew I didn't want to go back to a job. So then I hit my uncle up and that's when I went into door-to-door sales and he gave me that opportunity. So I knew it was being a business owner or going into sales was where I could control my paycheck and control what I wanted to do and how much money I wanted to make. So that was kind of how all that happened. And then getting into door to door. So I don't know, man, to be honest with you. I just throughout high school and all that, my dad wasn't instilling in me like entrepreneur, go start a business, go do this or anything. It was just when I was young doing that stuff, he just told me to go do it and I went and did it. So, but I had a whole thing for college and everything coming out of high school.
Interesting. You know, you told me at one point that you had things were going good, and then I didn't know about this experience right here, right? Where your partner basically took you for everything you had. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of having the right kind of team. I mean, that's one of the things we talk about on our podcast is that, you know, to master your millions, it's all starts in your mind and in your team, right? And make sure they're the best. And so, talk to us a little bit about what you find uh, is so important in key team members. I mean, Michael obviously is a key team member right now, and why is it that you have so much trust in him, or there's been some longevity there versus other people that have been dishonest with you?
Um, even over the last decade, and it's crazy because now looking back and stuff, and in the beginning, I was just so hungry. And as I got into door-to-door sales and then network marketing and entrepreneurship, I was like so hungry for it. So now I'm just going to people and just saying, hey man, can I get your help? Can I get this and everything? And just looking for it, not knowing and being able to read what they really were wanting from me. Well, after looking back at everything, as I was coming to these people, they would want to help me, but they only wanted to help me if I was working for them. So if I wasn't working for them, and I started to see a trend, is as soon as I wasn't like working for them in their network marketing company or their business, they really didn't care for me. Now, why me and Michael work so well is because we have the same vision and the same mission of what we want to accomplish, and we see the same thing together. So like we're rolling the boat in the same way. So the biggest thing that I've seen with building teams is everything is one, the leadership, the communication, and then being able to understand like where you guys are going and where everyone's wanting to go. And if not everybody's on the same page, wanting to go in the same direction, there's going to be a lot of dysfunction within your team, your organization, or your company. So why me and Michael work so well together, and we are, is because with Ideal, our mission is to impact over 1 billion lives and help them through personal and professional development and focusing on daily success habits. So we are both on the same page. So we work so well together there. But in the other companies and organizations that I did, you just have people that aren't on the same page and not wanting to do the same things for the same reasons. So being able to not have that leadership there and guidance, and I also think having like a systems and processes put into play to hold each other accountable to is really where everything falls out. Because when everybody's just free running within a team or an organization or even a company, it's just dysfunctional and it's all over the place. So that's why every quarter, every week, I have an L10 on Mondays. Our L10 is basically like our executive meetings. And then we do a quarterly meeting every quarter, and then we do an end of the year meeting. So that's the way it keeps everybody and all of our employees, all of our independent contractors, and everybody on the same page, knowing what it is that we're doing, we're communicating, and then I hold everybody accountable within our company. So everyone has their task and what they're supposed to do. And that's why we meet on a weekly basis and a quarterly basis, then to obviously overview everything on a quarterly basis, and then weekly keeping each other accountable to make sure that everything is getting done inside the company that needs to be done, and making sure that we have the right people in the right seats for that position of what the company needs them for.
So you have there's some accountability there. How do you make sure that, I mean, I hate the process of hiring someone, kind of a honeymoon phase, and then you start to really find out what they can do. And sometimes it's like it's nowhere near what you thought they could do for you. Um, how do you, I mean, what's been your process to be able to vet the right people and to keep the right, I mean, and to keep the right people around?
To be honest with you, man, for my door-to-door business and then to even Ideal, my only thing is you do the best you can to vet people out. What I've learned is if someone's not getting current results of what you're wanting to hire them for, then don't hire that person. Just because they did something in the past and a long time ago doesn't mean that they can still get those current results or still give you those results that they said that they did back in the past. That's one. Two is just really making sure you digest and ask enough questions to make sure you have the right person. But here's the thing is a lot of people will tell you exactly what you want to hear just to get the job. So what I always tell everybody, and Michael and what he's learned, is that you have to hire quick and fire quick. And my favorite quote that you'll see, and it's in our books, is time will either promote you or expose you. So I'll give you a shot. I'll get you in the company. But after I'm watching you between that first month, no matter what, that first 30 days, I'm watching exactly what it is, seeing how you move and everything. What you told me in that interview, are you fulfilling what it is? So I'll give you an example. Even for Ideal, we hired an assistant. She gave us all these things, said this, she's done this and all this. We get her in. She doesn't even know how to be really an assistant. She over here doing this, asking Michael all this stuff. And I'm all, man, I thought you were really an assistant. She's like, nope. I'm like, we're babysitting you. You're our assistant, supposed to be taking care of our calendars, our meetings, everything and all that stuff. But that's not happening. So we have to fire him and let him go. And then just hire quick, fire quick. And then you're going to find the right person. When you find that right person, you want to keep them in your company and make sure you keep those connections and those circles connected very tight. So that's kind of our model, especially in the door-to-door business. We put people on payroll. So you're on payroll right away. So we're not hiring you just to come in and milk it. We're a sales company. If you're not making sales and you're not booking appointments, then we got to get you out of here, because we're just basically just putting you on payroll just to have a check for you guaranteed. So it's hire quick and fire quick. And in door-to-door sales, you're going to know if you got it or not. If you can't communicate, you can't talk to people, you can't communicate with people, and you're scared to knock on doors and talk to people you don't know, this job is not for you. And if you're not a dog and you don't want to go out there and hustle, door-to-door sales is not for you. And I know you could probably attest for that, because the door-to-door sales is a different breed. I don't care what anybody says. It's not like anything else. You can't compare it to car sales. You can't compare it to cell phone sales, just any of those, not even real estate sales. The closest is real estate, because real estate people have to go out there and get their business. But you think about it, car salesmen, Verizon people, all these, they're just sitting in their things waiting for people to come in. Well, if people are coming to you, that means they want it. But think about knocking on a door and someone sitting on their couch or with their family eating dinner, maybe on a call or something, just relaxing, and they knock on your door and they're unexpected and they open it up, and you got to, and within 2 minutes, break the ice and get them to know, like, and trust you. And then not only that, when you come back, you're selling solar loans between 25,000 and 150 grand at 25 years with an interest rate. And then you sit down with them, and in 30 to 45 minutes, you're getting these people to say, yes, let's move forward. And they're signing these loans over that high cost to move forward on. So it's a very sophisticated, high quality sell, and it's not easy. But if you can master that and learn that in door to door, I mean, that's what's helped me in every space of my life, from my own company to just people, business, relationships, negotiating deals, getting what I want. Man, this door to door business and sales has taught me a lot.
So something people would be interested in. Tell us about one of your favorite deals where someone's come the door grumpy and how you were able to turn it around.
Oh, those are the best. I love the ones that even no soliciting signs. Sometimes I don't intentionally hit them, but if I'm training or something, I'll hit them. And I've had someone come right out and like point right out, and he goes, "You don't see the no soliciting sign? Why are you? I don't want no sales." And I said, "Dude, I'm sorry, man. It's hot. It's 115 degrees out. I'm training right now. I did not even see it. But my name is Blake, by the way. How you doing?" And he goes, "Name's this." "Well, sweet, man. Congrats on the new home. Where are you guys moving from?" Roll right into it, small talk, find out where he moves from. He's got kids, a family, and all this stuff. Next thing you know, I see his walls come down, starts relaxing. He's like, "All right, you're a cool dude," and everything. He's like, "Man, well, what are you doing, man? Sorry, I didn't mean to come off like that." And I'm like, "Bro, I totally understand. You put the sign up and I knocked on your door, but I apologize." Shoot him the pitch. "Hey, man, we're out here doing free energy assessments. We're going to take some basic information, submit it to our engineers. If your home qualifies to save money, I'll book a 20 to 30-minute appointment with you and your spouse. Come by. My job is just to educate you guys, answer any questions you guys have. If you guys like what you see and you want to move forward and save money, you guys can. If not, you guys don't have to. This is something we believe in, because power rates are going up every single year on us, and it's hot here in Arizona, and they're never going away. So I'd love to see if your home qualifies to save money." So yeah, man, I'm interested. I actually just got a high power bill. Grabbed his information, booked the appointment, come back. And here's what's funny is when they come back, walk in, he's like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know before we get started, I don't sign anything on the first day. I won't. I want to look at everything, and I just want you to give me all the information and leave it with me today." And I love those, because when people say that, that means that they want to buy. They're just trying to tell you that they don't want to buy. So when I hear that, I normally look at my guys and I give them a wink, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm closing this guy today." And then sit down, go through the whole thing, throw it all out. And then the guy's like, "Dude, like, why isn't everybody doing this? Like, this makes sense." And I'm like, "I know." And then I give him a good deal with an incentive. Next thing you know, the guy's signing his papers, moving forward. He's like, "I didn't think I was going to today, but man, this makes sense. This sounds good. It's way cheaper than what I'm paying. And I would love that incentive and not having to have no solar payment for 12 months. So let's move forward." So, and I've had a handful of those. I love those ones that come out that way, or it's just grumpy, pissed off. And obviously here in the summer in Arizona, man, I mean, when it's summertime, people are on edge. But in the wintertime here, they're happy. Doors are open with their screen doors shut. They want to come out and talk to you, and they're hanging out outside, watering their plants and doing all that stuff. But that was one of them. I actually had a guy that just recently, I was in a house, and when I came in, he said, "Man, I freaking hate you guys. You guys are assholes on the doors. This guy, when I was sitting there, he wouldn't leave me alone and all this stuff. I don't want nothing to do with you guys or anything, man." And then I just started talking to him. He's a military guy. He's no longer in the military no more, but his wife is, and just sat there and just got to know him, made a friend for about 15, 20 minutes. And at the end, he's like, "Dude, so what are you doing, man? What's up with this solar stuff?" And then I just gave him the pitch, and then he was the same thing. He's all, "I'm letting you know, man, you're not signing me up today. We're not doing anything." Same datum came back, and then the guy at the end of it is like, "That's my payment? You're like, that's all I'm going to pay?" And I'm all, "Yeah, man." And he's all right, well, let's move forward, man. So it's just crazy. You just got to make a friend. I tell guys in sales, it's a people's business. Everyone's trying to sell. You don't need to sell your product. You're selling yourself. People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. If you get people to know, like, and trust you, you can sell people anything, or they'll do business with you and do anything that you ask them to do.
So how does that translate into being a dad? How are you taking those principles and teaching it to a toddler who's throwing a fit in the grocery store?
Dude, it's crazy because I'm starting to see that with my daughter right now. She'll be 2 in October. My son just turned 8 months yesterday. But one thing is it's the communication. I've had to learn to slow down. I'm probably still talking fast right now on this podcast, but I've learned to just slow down and then just think first before I react. But then it's just taught me really how to be patient and communicate with my daughter. Um, I used to, I guess you could say, before my kids, I sometimes get angry very quick. And then just how I grew up and stuff, I'd want to pop off and get angry or want to fight or anything. But what I've learned and everything, even just from being raised with my dad and my mom and seeing all this stuff how it was, I just didn't want that to happen with my kids' life. And I didn't want to have my kids see that and them go through what I went through. So every time and everything, like me and my lady, we don't scream, yell at each other. We never cuss at each other. We watch what we say, but I just really try to be calm and just communicate with my daughter. And when she does things like she went and was drawing marker on my wall in the house and everything, and I literally sat there for a second. I was like, Blake, just relax, calm. She's a kid. She doesn't know. She doesn't understand. I'm saying all this in my head. I'm like, just go over there and talk to her. I'm like, but if you yell and scream, it just doesn't do any good. So I literally walked over there and I got on my knees. I'm like, sweetie, we don't draw on here. We draw on the paper. We only color in here. Can you please not do that no more? And then she goes, okay, daddy. And it's like, I could see the difference when you just calm and you go over to them and you communicate and look at them. They'll actually be more receptive than going, Aria, what are you doing? No, you, and then just getting all crazy and angry. So same thing within a store is just really just trying to calm her down and just communicate with her. I just found out that if you just talk to a child and a kid and not scream and yell at them and you look at them in their eyes and you try to communicate and you say please and thank you, like it changes everything. And then my daughter's over here every time, hey, can I have milk? We give her milk or a snack. Thank you, please. And then it's everything. So she's just picking up everything that we're doing and we're saying. So what's been awesome and to see is that me being a good leader to not only my company and everybody that works for me, but being a leader in my household, not only to my wife and my kids, has been awesome, especially watching my daughter because she picks up on everything. Just the other day, I left for work and every morning, whenever I leave, I grab my backpack that she walks me out. I walk out with her to my thing. She gets me a car, give her a hug and a kiss. Same thing to my lady. And then she says bye and then close the garage. Well, just the other day, she went in there, grabbed her backpack, put her backpack on. She has these obviously kids' keys, grabs the keys, and then goes over to, and then grabs her drink and goes to my lady and goes, hey, I got to go to work. Can you let me in? And then she walks to my office right here. So she knows my office. When she was a baby, she'd sit in here and watch me do calls and do business and everything. So she walked all the way to my door and said, Mama, can you open? Can you open? I got to go to work. So it's just crazy just seeing and everything and the habits they pick up on, the words they pick up on, the communication that they pick up on. And that's what's been fun on the journey of just being a dad with my kids and everything. It's just being able to kind of lead them and guide them in the right direction and then just be the father that I wanted to be. Not saying that my dad wasn't, but there were some things that my mom and dad did that I wish I never saw. But being able to do that and be the father now, I get to lead my kids in the right direction and not have to have that. And then my lady's on the same page with me.
So for our listeners out there, there's something important that's said. And I'm not trying to downplay employees here at all, but a lot of times you can look at employees the same way that we're looking at your daughter, right?
Yes,
They're
sir.
picking up on the subtleties that you're doing. They're modeling you and looking to you on how they're going to interact with everyone in the company. So if you've got employees and you're going to them to understand before snapping and things like that, you're going to get a lot further. And it's just basic human logic. Jason, anything else to add?
No, keep going. I'm the dad here, and so the interaction between you and I sometimes that even at your age, I need to go in the corner. Okay, settle down, Jason. Okay, he's just a boy. He's just a kid. Be patient.
Well, I could tell you it's the same thing with the employees, man. And when I started a while ago and getting into management and door-to-door sales, I would get angry. Like I said, but it was my habits. That's how I was raised, and see my dad, my mom, and everybody around. It's just how it was. So it was habitual. It's the only thing I kind of really knew. Well, as I started to see when got into management and how I was kind of getting angry at certain things or being loud or yelling and stuff because I was like, why are you late or this and that? And then the way I would come off to people, I saw the reaction. So then I needed to start to switch that around. And when I really switched that around and then got calmer and then communicated with them, it's crazy how much more receptive they are to you to open up to you and then be real and honest with you than to be the other way. And I always tell my guys, all my management team is it's monkey see, monkey do. So whatever you do, what you say, how you work, how you move, from the time you show up to the office to the time you go to the field and the time you go home, they're going to do exactly what you do. They're literally I mean, you're their leader. You're guiding them. So if you go home early, they're going home early. If you do stuff you shouldn't be when you're out in the field, they're going to do the same thing. It's just everything. It's exactly what you just said. So now in this space, and then since I've had my kids, even the last 2 years, I've even changed a lot more as a leader inside of my business and in my company, even with how I communicate here in my company Ideal or with the company with the door-to-door sales.
Yesterday, when we were talking a little bit, you talked about and this is one of the things I love about you. You're very aggressive, and you're finding ways to do things faster and more efficient. And you had been going into a UPS store, and I think, just say, "Hey, will you put my flyer in all of your mailboxes?"
Mm-hmm.
And the guy said, "Yeah." Tell us a little bit about that, and what resulted from that, simply because you were finding better ways to hustle.
Yeah, so obviously knocking door to door, you know how that is. And Scott, especially you, man, knocking door to door. I mean, I think the hardest part about knocking doors is just catching people home. Man, if every door answered, I know it'd be every door to door sales guy's dream is if every door answered, I'd be in a different spot and making way more sales. But that's the name of the game. It's the hardest part I think about just door to door is just catching them home. Talking to them is not a problem. It's just trying to catch them home. But uh, I was sitting there trying to think, man, I'm out here knocking doors, but how can I get more leads coming in? How can I get more efficient? So then I created my own little flyer, printed it out. There's a UPS store I would go to print them, and I was putting them on doors as well. But then as I walked in, like as I was telling you yesterday, is I saw all the mailboxes inside, and I was like, you know what? And then the guy that I would talk to, I knew he was the owner of the UPS store. He was a franchise owner. And I went to him and I said, hey, man, would you mind if I printed all these papers and you put them in all the mailboxes to maybe get calls? Because obviously these are all homeowners and stuff that live in the area, right? And he's all, yeah, they're all right here in this location. I was like, well, this is what I work and maybe it could help me out with sales. Would you mind? And he said, no, I don't mind. So put them in every mailbox, and I got a call from one of them, and that's what was cool. And because I would ask him like, hey, how'd you hear about me? And obviously it was a call, but when I'm knocking doors, I know who the sale's coming from. So I got a call. He's like, yeah, I got it from the flyer in my mailbox. And I'm all, yes, my first sale's coming from it. Um, Come to find out, I'd asked the guy, because obviously we're doing security systems for their homes, said, hey, I need to come to your house. He's like, I'm busy. I'm always on the move. I can't meet you at my house. I was like, well, and in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm a good salesman. As long as I know how many doors and windows and what you need, cameras and stuff like that, I can do the whole system without being at your home. And this is my first time. So he's like, hey, meet me at this Starbucks. So I meet him at the Starbucks, shoot him my whole pitch. And at the end, he goes to tell me, oh, man, I was looking for a security system for my car. I thought you just did security systems for anything. And I'm all, and we got trackers on our vehicles. So I was literally on like, while I'm sitting there, I'm trying to go through this pitch because I was scared that I was getting in trouble and get a call from my boss saying, why are you at a Starbucks? You've been there for about 20, 30 minutes. So I'm sitting there wrapping up my stuff and I'm about to get up. And I looked at the guy, I was like, damn, you wasted my time, man. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. And as I'm getting up, about to walk away, he says, well, hey, man, hold on 1 second. Are you open to an opportunity or opportunities? And I said, yeah. It's like your average entrepreneur has 7 streams of income. I only have one. I'm looking for 6 more. And then he says, we'll take a seat real quick. And then literally in my head, I'm like, man, I was like, some like told me to sit down. And I was like, but I looked at him, I was like, I have only a couple minutes, man, because I have to go. I got a tracker on my card. I even told him. And he's like, it'll be quick. Pull up YouTube, pull this up, Legal Shield, hit play. And then as he's playing in between these people that are speaking on this company, he's talking about them. So me as a salesman, just reading and knowing if he's bullshitting me or if he's lying to me, or if I can read if it's fake or not, I'm sitting there and the things he was saying specifically about each person is as if he had a relationship with them for years or a long time. And he really knew these people, and it sounded very genuine and real. So I was like, then it intrigued me. Then what really clicked was he goes, so right now you're doing sales for security. Well, how long are your contracts? He said, I say 5 years. And he goes, so do you get just an upfront commission, or every month they pay that monthly monitoring? Do you get a percentage of it? And I say, no, I just get an upfront commission for every sale. He's also, you don't have residual income. I go, no. He's like, well, what if I told you with what I just showed you is every account or every customer that you brought on, every month they pay their bill, you got a percentage and a cut of that monthly recurring revenue. And as long as they paid it forever, you got paid forever on it. And I was all, I like that. I wish I had that here, but I like that. And he's like, and it's network marketing. It's not a full-time job. This won't interfere with what you're doing. You can continue to do what you're doing and you can build this on the side. And then he's like, I was like, damn, that actually sounds good. I'd rather have residual income. If I'm doing all this hard work, I'm going to have to continue to work forever because I won't see residual. And he says, all right, sweet. And I was like, well, how do you do it? And he's like, well, it's only $250 to start up. And obviously at the time I'm making 3 to 6 grand. So 250 to me, I was like, I don't know this guy, just met him in Starbucks, but $250, I'll just go make another sell. This will either work or won't. And then he says, all right, hop in your car and follow me to this UPS store. And I'm like, UPS store? So then I'm following him over there and we pull in. I'm like, this is the UPS store that I was going to put all my flyers in. And then that's when everything started to click and he walks in, walks right behind the counter of the UPS store and shakes the guy's hand, the owner, Garrett. And then I look at both of you and I'm all, you guys know each other? And he's like, yeah, I know this guy and everything. He's all, I got your flyer from my mailbox because I have a mailbox here. And he told me a lot about you. Said you're a sharp kid. So that's why I wanted to call you. And I'm all, you guys set me up. I literally said like that. He's all, no, he's all, you're a sharp kid, man. And I was like, well, I like what you're saying. He's like, come behind the counter, sign up. I literally sign up, $250. And then he says, hey, man, get a couple of your buddies together. And then I'll come by and show you and your buddies this tonight. And I said, all right, sounds good. That's no problem. I was like, I got my couple brothers and my couple cousins and 2 friends. So I'll have them all come out and there's 5 of us. So he actually shows up. I call my buddy, said, hey, man, ran in this guy. All I know is it won't interfere with what we're doing. We can do it on the side, but there's residual income. And that's what we need. And they were like, I was like, just come to my penthouse tonight. And just so you know, at the time I was living in a penthouse in downtown Phoenix. So say, come over to my penthouse tonight. He's going to come by. I just want you guys to hear it out and see if you see what I'm seeing. He pitches us the whole opportunity, everything. And then at the end, all my boys are like, damn, this sounds dope. Let's do it. So then I'm like, all right, I'll talk to my guys. They all say yes after that guy leaves. And I sign everybody up. And then I was like, he told us that there's a daily pay, but it's only Monday through Friday. So you get paid daily. So I was like, well, here's what we'll do. I'll sign you guys up. We just met this guy. You guys just met this guy. I don't know how real he is, but how about you guys all sign up? And if it doesn't work, I'll give you guys all your money back. So I even told him that I was like, hey, let's just do this. I'll take the risk. I'll give you all your money back. Let's sign up and let's see if I even get paid. Well, the next day comes, he sees I sign up all 5 of my buddies. So then Brandon Williams calls and says, hey, man, let's do it again tonight. But tell those 5 guys to invite more people and you invite more people. And I said, nope. And he goes, what do you mean? He's like, do you know how much money you just made? I'm all, yeah, but I don't care. And he's like, what do you mean you don't care? And I'm all, because I was like, bro, I just met you at a Starbucks. I don't even know you. And then you're telling me this. And I'm like, I want to make sure that this is real. And he goes, all right. He's all, I respect that. And he's all, sweet, your first deposit will hit tomorrow. And I said, sounds good. I was like, well, when my deposit hits, I'll call you. If the deposit doesn't hit, just know that you won't hear from me ever again. Literally, we do that. I wake up first thing in the morning. I'm literally laying in bed. And I remember looking up, I log into my bank and it was 1,500 and some change hit my account. I'm all, no way. And it said Legal Shield. I screenshot it. I sent it to all 5 of my boys, put us on the group chat. And I said, let's take off. Literally just said that screenshot, let's take off with a rocket. And all my boys literally were calling me like, are you serious? That hit your bank? What? No way. Because literally we're knocking doors, knocking all day, full-time job. And in one night, a presentation comes in, I sign 5 people up and I make 1,500 and get paid within 24 to 48 hours. So from that point forward, I called Brandon Williams and I said, well, the money hit the bank. What's next? Let's sit down and game plan. And then that's when I basically sat down with them. And then he gave me a whole thing. He's like, there's an executive director in this company that's a high rank, but no one's ever achieved it within 1 month in that company. So once he saw what I did, then we met. He's like, I want to do something with you and I want to help you break a record that's never been broken in the company. And here's how we have to do it. And then I was like, all right, cool. So obviously built it. He's all, here's your 4 guys under you. And then you got to build depth down. And it was a certain amount of people. So you had to do it within 30 days to hit the rank. And he's like, all right, well, let's do it again. Invite people out and have them. And obviously my boys were hyped. And now they wanted to get paid what I got paid. So then all my boys and everybody started inviting people out. I think we had about like 18 people. Literally everybody signs up. And then again, we're like, all right, I'll tell my boys, we're going to do it again tomorrow night. And then he was like, let's do it again. Everybody that signed up, everybody invite more people. Next thing you know, 30, 60, 70, 90, 100. Literally, I have pictures in my penthouse. It's packed out all the way into my hallway, all this stuff. And it was crazy. And then it took off. I hit a record, hit executive director in 1 month. That's when it went viral within the company. And then the company was like, who is this guy? What's he doing? And then they started flying me around, starting to teach and train on what I was doing. Made 6 figures, built a team of 6,000 people in 6 months. And it was cool. It was exciting. I was young, making a lot of money doing that. And crazy thing is my uncle found out that we were doing this, and he brought me in one night and said, "Hey man, are you doing this Legal Shield thing?" And I go, "Yes, sir." And then he's like, "All right, cool, you're fucking fired." And I go, "Wait, why?" And he's like, "Because," he's all, "who else is doing this in my company?" And I was like, "Well, it's just my two brothers, my cousin, and then my other two buddies." And I was like, "I didn't tell nobody in your entire company." And he's all, "Good. You call them and bring them all into my office now." Brought all five of them in the office. He fires all of us. "You all get out of my office." And then he goes and looks at me at the end. And he goes, "I'm filing a $25,000 lawsuit against you because you're recruiting people in my company. Every person is $5,000. Go look at your agreement." And I'm all, "I wasn't recruiting anybody." I'm like, "We're all still here. We're working." I'm like, "You gave me a book by Grant Cardone that says be obsessed or be average." And I read this thing and it's talking about being an entrepreneur and being smart and creative. And I'm like, I did this because it has nothing to interfere with this. We're still making sales. We're all still working here. And I'm doing this on the side. And I was like, and then he's like, "I don't care, blah, blah, blah. You're taking focus away," and all this stuff. And literally, I'm like, holy crap, we all lose all of our jobs in one night. So then we're in my penthouse and we're all sitting here like going crazy. He's not happy, all this stuff. Obviously, I'm like, man, I'm only like 22, 23. And he's like, "I'm filing a $25,000 lawsuit against you, everything." And I'm like, I'm looking at Brandon Williams, this older guy, because I'm like, I've never been in a lawsuit, bro. This is scary. Like, what am I going to do? And he goes, "What do you mean? What are you going to do?" I'm like, "I don't know what to do." He's all, "That's why you have the app. You have an attorney in the palm of your hand. Click it and use it. You pay for it monthly. That's what it's for in these situations." I'm all, "No way." So I click it, get on, and then I get a letter from my uncle, and it was real. He filed a $25,000 lawsuit against me. And then I take that, send it to my attorneys. My attorneys draft a letter, send it to me. Blake approve it. I approve the letter, send it to him. Within, I think, maybe a couple weeks, I get a text from him that says, "Hey man, looks like you have attorneys and I have attorneys. Why don't we just squash this like men and move on?" And I'm all, yeah. So now guess what? That was part of my story. So then inside the network marketing company I joined, not only didn't make money, but I utilized the service, and the service helped me win a lawsuit and get out of it and not get sued through it. So now when I have both of these, that I could show that it's real and the company makes money and we're getting paid daily. And then also I utilized the service that soon, and it got me out of $25,000 lawsuit. That's what went. So now you have a testimonial, and then I have results for getting paid. That's when everything really took off from there. But that's kind of the story of how all that happened. And then I broke away from my uncle doing door-to-door sales. And then I went full-time all in, and then my back was against the wall. I was living in a penthouse that my rent was $5,400 a month. And that was just the rent. And then obviously plus all my utilities and all the other stuff. So I had no choice. But I had to go all in, and we figured out, and that's when we set that up and went and broke the record, and then just took off from that point.
You said something yesterday really significant, and that was that you were making all this money and you did something different than your brothers and your cousins, which, what I want to get to is what it led to is where you are at today, right? So
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So, um, again, like, I don't know what it is, but as soon as I got an entrepreneurship, and then I don't know what book, it might have been Grant Cardone's or someone's, but I just heard that your average entrepreneur has 7 streams of income. But here's what I thought. I thought 7 streams of income, which means you had to own 7 companies. That's what I literally thought. I didn't know that you could own one company and have 7 streams within one company. So that's why after I started making this money, all in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm an entrepreneur now. I only got one though. I need 7 companies to be a real entrepreneur. I really thought that. So took my money, all my friends and everybody in our organizations were just blowing it, buying chains, watches, shoes, traveling, doing whatever. I did some of that, but I took a majority of my money. And then my first thing is I went and bought a franchise gym. It was called Stat Fitness. I went and bought a gym. And then inside the gym, when I did it, I was like, I had a good space in there. So I was like, man, I could start and open up my own nutrition shop, because I always out here, they have one-stop nutrition where you go get your protein shakes, powders, and all that. So then I was like, man, I could create my own nutrition shop inside of it. And then I was like, why not start my own supplement company? And then I could just sell my supplements out of this gym, but then I could use the supplements and the protein for the shakes and the nutrition shop. And then I was like, damn, well, why don't I start an apparel line as well? So then the men and women's, I could do gym apparel and everything. So then I wanted to vertically integrate everything. So I'm like, now I got a gym, I have a supplement company, a nutrition shop, and then I have men and women's apparel line. And I started all of them all at once, and then started doing it all and selling it there. I even started my own suit line called Hahn Suits. I use my last name because I'm German, and started my own suit line because in network marketing and everything I was doing, I was going to all these business opportunities and traveling the world. So then I had a suit line. So I had all of those businesses. I think that's 5 or 6 now: gym, supplements, nutrition shop, apparel, and then the suits. Yeah, so I'm right there at 5. And then with the network marketing. So for some reason, that's what it was. But I took my money that I made in Legal Shield and I started buying stuff and companies and starting companies with my money and investing it. And that was the only different thing, is a lot of my buddies weren't doing any of that. So then they started to get jealous of me because I had a gym, all this stuff, but they didn't. And then that's when things slowly started to crumble after that. And then I'll be honest with you, it was just the lack of leadership. I didn't know, man. I was young, making a ton of money. I come from nothing. I was excited, living in a penthouse. I got another penthouse after that. And that's kind of when people got a little bit more jealous. But I had a 2-story penthouse paying $6,700 a month in it. It was 6,000 square foot with 3 master bedrooms. And you could just start seeing it. But we're all young
By
kids.
yourself, single by yourself.
Yeah, just me and me and my lady.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we're literally in a penthouse, literally 6,000 square foot, 3 master bedrooms. But I got it because I wanted to help her start her own business. So she took one of the rooms and I took one. So one was my office and I ran it out of there. And when I met Michael Law, my business partner right now for Ideal, I met him in network marketing. The way I met him was that he came to he saw one of my flyers I posted. What I used to call my events was called Pack the Pen. Come join and network with local entrepreneurs and learn how to earn residual income. So Michael had came out to one of my flyers events and came into my house, and that's how I met him. So when I got the second house, when my lease was up, me and her had the master. She took hers, and I invested in her and helped her go through schooling and all that to do eyelashes and all that stuff and eyebrows. So she started her own business, and then me and Michael, I had my office upstairs, and then we ran my business out of there. So yeah, so doing that and then starting all these companies, literally it was just like jealousy. And I was like looking at my boys, I'm like, well, you guys can do this too. This is just what I chose to do with my money. And why are you guys hating on me? Why are you mad? So then they wanted to all start doing their same thing. And that's when my network marketing, my mainstream of income, that business just started to crumble. And I didn't really know too much, man. Like I said, I was young, started making a lot of money, getting penthouses. If I look back, I mean, the experience and the time I had, great. I would never take it back. But looking back, like, man, should I really have been spending 6,700 a month or 5,400 a month? What could I have done with that money if I was just living in like renting like maybe a house or an apartment that was like 1,000 or 1,500 bucks a month? So, but that's kind of all that happened, man. And I want to invest my
That's what
money.
was the genesis, wasn't it? Somewhat of Ideal, saying these other guys don't have that. You didn't have the leadership that you needed. But then these other guys that were in your group was like, they really don't understand money and don't know the habits that you had formed. And it went to, I think you had millionaires to billionaires, right? Was a
Yes.
group that you had. And then you noticed that, you know what, that just doesn't resonate with people. And we struggle with that a little bit with, our podcast, Master Your Millions. Does that turn people off for the fact, well, I don't have millions. Why do I want to listen to that podcast? All right. But so you changed from millionaires to billionaires to Ideal. And so just give us a few minute synopsis of Ideal and why it is that people want to be involved with that mastermind, and then maybe even how they can get a hold of you.
Well, here's what's crazy is, all the things you've heard so far up until this point, all this stuff that like when I got in, I was making all this money. I had no financial literacy. So I was blowing my money, being done with it. I didn't have no one guiding me. My parents never owned companies. They're just working a job. So they couldn't guide me and tell me how to be smart with my money. The guy that was leading me wasn't guiding me in any sort of way. So what I noticed and everything after that happened, that crumbled. And then I started going, I was like, man, I need to learn finances. I don't have financial literacy. I need to be more smarter with that. I didn't learn it in school. And then obviously everything else. So now, if you heard all those things, that's where these stemmed from. So I always wrote down my goals. This is called our daily success book, our goal book. So this is just line paper where you write your goals in, and it's called Millionaires to Billionaires. So the reason why I did Millionaires to Billionaires is because I wanted to be the first millionaire of my generation. And then obviously after that, I wanted to be a billionaire. Well, the daily success book, this is where all my habits and my routines and my structures is what it came from. So planning out my entire day, my quarters, my years, showing my gratitude in here, my daily affirmations, thanking God, planning out, writing my quarterly goals, reading my 10 pages, all that good stuff. Well, then that's what I wanted to add because I didn't have financial literacy. Then we wanted to create a financial book for people. So when that divine calling, that download came from God, this is what came into my head, but now it's real. Is I needed to create all these things that I was doing, and mainly the financials, what I didn't have. I wanted to give back to people, because if you could write down your goals and have a clear roadmap of where you want to go and what you want to do in life, you're at least on track to something. Now, the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, they plan their years out, their quarters, their months, their days, and their weeks. And then obviously they show gratitude, they hold themselves accountable, they read, they do all the stuff. But then the other side is, this is just the basics. We're going to have multiple volumes of this, but this is just the basics of understanding your spending habits and your patterns of how you spend your money. So inside of it, you're tracking everything and finding out at the end of every single day, if you marked everything, or if you pulled your bank statements and went off your last 90 days and you highlighted and took 2 highlighters, highlighted everything that was a need and then everything that was a want. And then you added up all your wants and needs, you'd actually find out that you're actually spending a lot more money on wants than needs, and that you really do have money and you're not actually broke. You're just spending it on stuff that really isn't bringing value or creating an ROI for you. So that's where these stem from. And then I wanted to be a millionaire and a billionaire. So then I just named it. And I'm the first generation millionaire out of my family. So that's what FGMB stands for, first generation millionaires to billionaires. And then I just named it millionaires to billionaires. So that's where that stemmed from. Now, like, to go to your, just to answer your question, is a lot of people were intimidated by the name. So what I started to see is I wanted to get this into schools, colleges, and all across the world and help out, is really for the generations behind us. But also we could teach people ahead of us too as well. So as I started to see it, people were intimidated by it. We even did apparel too. I literally had friends and buddies, literally and family, saying, man, I don't even want to wear, I can't wear your apparel, or I don't want that. I'm like, why? And they're like, because I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a billionaire. And I'm all, it's not you have to be one to wear it and say that this is who I am. I'm a millionaire, billionaire. It's the mindset that we're trying to get people in, is that you can have and achieve anything that you want. You can create whatever it is that you want if you just think for yourself. And it's the mindset to become a millionaire or a billionaire. Because if you habitually see it and read it every single day, it's just your mind's going to start to attract and pull you in the direction to become what it is that you want. So after we found that out, I'm like, man, so now I don't got friends and family not doing it. Well, they won't even buy the books or utilize it because it says that on there. It's just intimidating. So then we were thinking about everything, and Ideal's where it was founded out. And Michael's really the one that brought that to the surface, because a lot of this, like Bob Proctor and those people, they say ideal a lot in their stuff. And we're like, man, ideal. So then we looked up the definition of ideal. Do you guys know the definition of ideal?
Not the dictionary definition.
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, so I can just read it right off. So ideal stands for satisfying one's conception of what is perfect and most suitable, existing only in the imagination, desirable or perfect, but not likely to become a reality. So how many people have such a great idea and they want to do this, but it never comes true? It never becomes a reality. How many of your friends and family are sitting around, man, I had that idea. All this stuff is popping up. Man, I thought about that. So now what it is ideal. And then you look at all your big companies and your branding, one word, one logo, Apple, Nike, you know what I'm saying? Netflix, all these things. So then ideal. And we're like, well, now we can help people create their ideal life. So then literally, you know what's so crazy? All we did was take all 3 books. People were saying they're too heavy. It's a lot. I don't want to carry these around, which I totally agree with. Put all 3 of these in one central location, same books, same processes, same system, same structure. Put them in one central location and rebranded it to Ideal, which create your ideal life. Once we did that, everything flip-flopped. And literally people from all around the world, people wanted to buy our books now. Even the apparel was crazy too as well. Like you see the Ideal apparel, the hats, now people want to buy everything. Yeah. Guess what? It's the same concept, the same company. Everything's exactly the same. We didn't change anything besides
just the branding.
And now guess what? We're getting these into nonprofits for kids and the homeless right now. We're helping out with schools and colleges. We're getting this into companies. We're getting into this just everywhere. And obviously, we want to help the masses with it. So,
so how do people find you? Is it ideal.com? What's the best way to?
Idealu.io is the website. So it's really
Ideal, letter U or YOU?
The letter U. So ideal U, just the letter U.io. Okay. So really what
everybody put that in the show notes. Well, I really hate this, Blake. Maybe we'll need to have to come back for another time. We're up against a time limit here.
Yes,
It's
sir.
it's awesome because I want to talk a little bit more about some of the nuts and bolts of your concept. And I've looked into it and I've seen the stuff that you guys are doing, and it's phenomenal. There's masterminds, there's people can get involved in all different levels. And the cool thing is there's something for everyone. I
Yes.
don't believe there is a person at any level in life. They can be a billionaire and still benefit from what Ideal has to offer. Because it's not all about money, it's about what your ideal is and what you want. And then also having that accountability, which is so critical, not only in generating money and millions or billions, but in generating that environment or that life. And it's amazing.
Yeah, and if I
Scott,
could,
go ahead, Blake.
I was gonna say if I could just cap that out because I know the timing, but to what you just said, um, you got to think about it. Like these books is not like you said, it's not just like you do Ideal because you want to be a millionaire or billionaire. It's a blank canvas for you to master your habits in what area of life you want. If a mom is wanting to just become a better mom and be able to be better with her schedule, her timing, and just be better with her habits, she could utilize the book or the app. And then if a dad wants to be a better dad, maybe someone's wanting to just be a better employee at work. You never know what it is, but that's not what it is. So it's a blank canvas to help you master your habits so you can master your life. And what I want to touch on is, Brian Smith, the founder of UGG boots. I don't know his exact age, but he's got to be close to it. He's in his 70s or so. What's crazy is when we interviewed him on our talk show and we brought the books and everything, at the end of it, that guy, you guys know UGG is a billion-dollar brand, but you guys know that Brian Smith didn't scale it to be a billion-dollar brand. Brian Smith scaled it and he hit a cap because he didn't have financial literacy and couldn't take it to a billion-dollar brand. So then sold it, and then that new person took it to $1 billion. So when we met him, as we interviewed him, we found out why he did that is because he wasn't smart with his money and didn't have financial literacy. That day, he grabbed our book. We only had this one. We had one copy with us, and he went into his thing, opened it up, and took the financial side of things, and he scanned them on all this stuff so that he could start learning the basics of what we offer on the financial side, because still at the age of 70 and watching his brand go to $1 billion company that he couldn't do because of financial literacy and his spending patterns with his money is exactly why. And what's crazy is he sold the company and didn't keep all the money or do anything with it and compound it. So like you said, it doesn't matter if you're 5 years old, 18 years old, you're 50, 70 years old. You can start this and implement this in your life, and whatever you want to master in your life, it's a blank canvas to put it in there and hold yourself accountable to it and become what you want to become.
Love that. Thank you, Blake. We've had so much fun having you on. We do need to have you back, and we'll schedule that, or Jason will. If our guests wanted to connect with you, is idealu.io the best way to go about that?
So that's our website. To connect with us online, my Instagram and Facebook is Blake A. Hahn. And then for our Instagram, it's the.ideal.app. So the Ideal app for Instagram and Facebook. So on social media for Ideal, it's the.ideal.app. For our website and everything that we offer, it's idealu, just the letter u.io, and that's our website. And then you can connect with me personally at Blake A. Hahn on all platforms.
Awesome.
And that's
awesome,
spelled H-A-H-N. Let's be
yes,
clear,
yes.
H-A-H-N. That's how the
And
Hahn
we will
spelled.
put it in the show notes down below, guys. So make sure to go check him out. He's doing incredible things. If you'd like to connect with Jason or I, make sure to hit us up on one of our social media platforms. All of that will be in the show notes down below. And if you like today's episode, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us out. And last, remember that mastering your millions all starts with your mind and your team. Make sure they are the best. We will catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening to Master Your Millions with Jason and Scott Henderson. Check the show notes for any links or contact information about today's guest. Make sure to follow the show so you don't miss any future episodes.